Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 1 hour. Calling UN Security Council meet on Kashmir, boomerangs on Pakistan as it is cornered by its members. Nations reject its false flag narrative, condemn Pahalgam terror attack. India's Home Secretary to hold meeting on civil defence in a short while from now. 244 categorized districts up to village level begin preparation. Israel Security Cabinet approves plan to capture Gaza, also approves plan to deliver aid through private companies. US extends support even as UN and other aid agencies decree the move. Donald Trump administration freezes future grants to Harvard, demands policy changes mainly regarding anti-Semitism on the campus. German conservative Friedrich Merz will be sworn into office as Chancellor. Merz to lead coalition of conservatives and social democrats. All right, let's start with the big news coming in. Pakistan cornered at the UNSC meet on Kashmir members. The members, in fact, reject Pakistan's false flag narrative. Up on your screens, we have the details of the big news coming in. Calling UN Security Council meet on Kashmir, boomerangs on Pakistan. The UNSC members condemn Pahalgam terror attack. Pakistan is cornered at the UNSC meet on Kashmir on the Pahalgam. Also, members reject Pakistan's false flag narrative. Nations reject its false flag narrative and criticize religious targeting. The UNSC members condemned Pahalgam terror attack. And Pakistan's escalatory missile tests and nuclear rhetoric was also criticized at the forum. So here we have the breaking news coming in just now. Members at the UNSC accuse Pakistan of escalating the situation, and Pakistan is questioned over Pahalgam attack and LET links. This is another backlash to Pakistan at the global platform. The UN Security Council meet on Kashmir, called by Pakistan, boomerangs on it. The members at the UNSC reject Pakistan's false flag narrative and also criticize Pakistan for religious targeting. So this is the big breaking we are tracking at this hour. Pakistan criticized at the UNSC meet as tensions between India and Pakistan escalate in the wake of Pahalgam terrorist attack. The United Nations Security Council held closed-door consultations on the current situation. The UNSC discusses India-Pakistan tensions, and also at the closed-door consultations, Pakistan was cornered on the Kashmir issue. The members at the UNSC rejected Pakistan's false flag narrative. Remember, these consultations were held at Pakistan's request, but members criticized religious targeting and also Pakistan's links to LET. The UNSC members also condemned Pahalgam terror attack and also Pakistan's escalatory missile tests and nuclear rhetoric were criticized at the forum. Secretary General Antonio Guterres warned against military escalation. And also Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General, urged restraint on both sides. Amritpal Singh joins us on phone line to get us more. Amrit, we've told our viewers how the UNSC meet called by Pakistan on the Kashmir issue boomerangs on itself. Get us more details, though we tell our viewers that it was a closed door meeting, but still get us more. What more can we get from you?
All right. Basically, Priti, Pakistan had called. Pakistan is a member, a non-member, non-permanent member of the Security Council. It sits on the Security Council. So, by virtue of that, it had called a meeting on the rising tensions between India and Pakistan. Understandably, Pakistan, put out its narrative saying that, look, India is beating up the war drums. The world should act. It tried to internationalize Kashmir, which it always does. It said it's a false flag operation done by the Indians themselves, and now the Indians don't have any evidence, and they're accusing Pakistan. They're just looking for an excuse to attack Pakistan. Now, this was Pakistan's spirited attempt to convince the international community. They cried Turkey. It did not cut ice with the with the members sitting there, both permanent and non-permanent. China understandably was quiet, but the other members told Pakistanis in no uncertain terms that, look, we do not believe this narrative that you're spewing about it being an Indian operation or a false flag operation. There are, actors involved in it. They were asked whether there could be possible links with the Lashkar-e-Taiba, because the world knows very well that, Lashkar-e-Taiba operates, though under different names, offshoots like the Resistance Front, Jamaat-ud-Dawa, etc., because it's a banned organization. Hafiz Saeed is so-called in a custody, but he roams around freely in Pakistan. So they were confronted with all that. So the world put that aside, saying that false flag narrative is all bunkum. We do not buy that. Secondly, they were very clearly told that, look, there is a terrorist attack and there is a need for accountability. You either bring the perpetrators of this attack to justice and sort it out with the Indians and work towards finishing this, or and bring accountability for the Pahalgam attack, or you face consequences. Then they were told that, these missile tests and this nuclear rhetoric that we are a nuclear nation and we have missiles and we can attack and we can press the nuclear button. Stop this rhetoric, because these are escalatory factors on your end. And also they were clear. So basically Pakistan failed in its efforts to internationalize Kashmir. They were told in no uncertain terms, sort it out bilaterally with the Indians, and there is no point bringing it up because the world sees you for what you're doing. So that's what transpired there.
All right, Amrit. Now, these consultations were closed-door consultations. At the same time, these did not take place at the iconic horseshoe table there. In spite of this, the Secretary General did use stern words. He warned against military escalation, and he urged restraint on both sides. And also, you tell us that the members did use difficult and stern words, talking about role of Pakistan, and also how terrorism emanated from that soil, led to the Pahalgam terror attack. Help us understand the importance of this session on the global page. What is the footing of this session when a closed-door consultation takes place? The nations are are putting their foot against Pakistan. They do criticize the Pahalgam terror attack. But then, what is the significance of this consultation?
So the significance is that as I said, Pakistanis sit on the Security Council as non-permanent members. So they moved a resolution. They called for a discussion on it, saying that, we are the victims, India is the aggressor. So that was their attempt, so that they could bring in global pressure on India to, not take any kind of action if India is mulling that. And they said India is, beating the war drums, and we are not involved, and our people are not involved. So that did not cut ice with the international community. They were, as I said, all the points that you've listed out, and I told you, they were told in no uncertain terms that we do not buy this narrative. So they basically went home with mud on their face. They tried to internationalize this, thinking that, the global pressure would act on India. But they were told, because, as you said, it was a closed-door session, Pakistanis had called it, thinking they will be able to get the world on their side. The world sees what it is. They were told that please do not get into this. We do not buy the false flag theory. Sort it out bilaterally with the with India. There is no point bringing it up here. So they could not garner the kind of support they were looking at garnering. About the Secretary General. The Secretary General spoke like the UN chief does, asking for restraint on both sides. So he did what typically UN does, saying that, oh, don't fight and talk it out. So that's what transpired.
All right, Amrit. Help us also understand the way measures have been taken by India, in the aftermath of the Pahalgam attacks. How do you see the days ahead pan out? It's difficult to contemplate. But then as a journalist, what is your evaluation of the situation right now?
No, it's not difficult to contemplate. It's very easy to contemplate. You go on social media, you go on television channels, everybody is contemplating, but so are those in the security establishment. The idea is, Preeti, the Indian strategy is very clear, that a terrorist attack has taken place. It's not a one-off. It has been a consistent pattern. Pakistan, despite its assurances to the international community, hasn't followed the norms of a civilized nation. That is to say that they haven't stopped the terror factory operating from their soil. In fact, they've used them as strategic assets to bleed India as and when they can. So Indian strategy is very clear, that if you do such acts, there will be a cost to it. You inflict pain on us, we will inflict pain back on you. If required, with a vengeance, at multiple levels. At military options are on the table, economic options are on the table, diplomatic options are on the table. So you inflict pain, we raise the bar, we inflict pain back at you till the time you stop doing what you do. So the idea is to assert the red lines, that these red lines cannot be crossed. You cross them, you pay a price. There is a cost to it. So those costs have to be paid by you.
All right, Amrit, we'll leave it here. Thank you so much for joining in with those details and those insights. That was our correspondent, Amrit Pal Singh, explaining to us the importance of the consultations at the UNSC. Another big news coming in now from Central District of Kashmir Division, Budgam, where 2 suspected terror associates have been held with arms and ammunition. DD India correspondent Vishal Baristow is with us to get us more on that. Vishal, how important is this? Get us more. We tell our viewers that 2 suspected terror associates have been held with arms and ammunition. What more can you add to it?
Well, a very good morning to you, Preeti. We've been telling our viewers that cordon and search operation is on throughout the Jammu and Kashmir area, especially the valley area. And here we are talking about the Buchipora Kavusa road, and during the Nakabandi, which is you just block the road and search the vehicles, the security forces, they apprehended 2 terror assistants, we have been informed, and from them the arms and ammunition were recovered. The investigation is on, but definitely it calls for an alarm, because Budgam is quite near to Srinagar, and the search operations are still on. So meanwhile, the Pakistan army continues to violate the ceasefire for the 12th day at different locations on the line of control. Indian army is also retaliating, but the search operations are revealing a lot of evidences against Pakistan, because the overground workers are also in some way connected to the Lashkar-e-Taiba and its offshoots. This is how India plans to tell the world how things are getting worse there in Pakistan, because it's a weak government, it's a banana republic, and that is why it is trying to flex its muscles. The Pakistan army. And we also read, according to the Pakistani media, one of the former military officers, he also claimed that Asim Munir, it was the brainchild of Asim Munir, this Pahalgam attack, while Pakistan goes to the United Nations and says that we have nothing to do with it. So these are the revelations coming from across the border, the witnesses and the evidence is being collected by the joint operation, also being headed by the NASA. Everything is pointing fingers towards Pakistan. Meanwhile, Pakistan continue to beat the rhetoric, continue to repeat the narrative that it's a nuclear nation, not forgetting that India had nuclear arms before Pakistan could somehow manage through other countries through the back doors. But India is a nuclear power and it has got every right to defend its people. Preeti?
All right, Vishal, you're there in Srinagar. Also, get us a sense of the situation there. We have been telling our viewers about how tourists have been expressing confidence and they have been returning to the valley. You're there. Get us more as to what is it that you witness on the ground at present.
Well, the mood is absolutely quite sad here. Let me be very honest. Yes, the tourists are coming back. They are having confidence in the security forces. There is no letting down as far as the hospitality of the people, because this was their time to earn money, Preeti. This was their time to earn for the whole year. And when you have a situation like this, definitely it is not taken lightly by these people. In fact, they are very much in anger against this attack, because they know that it's a direct attack on their belly. That is why the people are all in opposition against Pakistan. Yes, the tourists are coming, they are coming back, but the situation is absolutely different. It's a sea change, because what we could see is in smaller groups the tourists are coming. They are happy to move around. They have all words of praise for the local people, but the numbers have gone down drastically.
All right, Vishal, thank you so much for joining in with those details from Srinagar. That was our correspondent, Vishal Baristo, telling us more about the suspected terror associates who have been held with arms and ammunition. And he also got us the current update on the ceasefire violations. We will keep you posted. That was the latest we were tracking on the Pahalgam terror, on the aftermath of the Pahalgam terror attack, the developments both internationally, the consultations that were held at the UNSC, and domestically, the situation in Kashmir, and also the investigations that are currently underway. We will keep you updated. Moving on, amid escalating tensions between India and Pakistan, Union Home Secretary Govind Mohan has called a meeting regarding civil defence in a short while from now, that is at 10:45 a.m. IST. The Chief Secretaries and heads of civil defence from across the country will participate in the meeting via video conferencing. Preparations for civil defence are being made in 244 districts of the country. As India's Home Ministry has asked several states to conduct a mock drill for effective civil defence on 7th of May, preparations for civil defence are being made in 244 categorized districts of the country. The following measures will be taken, and up on your screens we get to those. The first is operationalization of air raid warning sirens. Training of civilians, including students, on civil defence aspects to protect themselves in the event of a hostile attack. Also, provision of crash blackout measures. The mock drills will also address provision for early camouflaging of vital plants or installations, and updation of an evacuation plan and its rehearsal. All right, our correspondent Arun Sharma is joining us to get us more on that. Arun, we've told our viewers about the mock drill that will be conducted on 7th of May and how the preparations are underway. Get us more details. What more can you add to it?
Good morning, Preeti. Well, yes, India will be holding mock drills across various districts across the country. And the idea is to train the civilians if in case there is any untoward incident, any crisis or any attack. How can the civilians protect themselves? There is a two-tier strategy over here, that how can the students, the civilians, they can train themselves. Number two, and in these kind of situations, how can the evacuation process can be done? Now, Preeti, this is, there are various countries which hold primarily these kind of mock drills to train their civilians or the students or the youngsters. We have seen various developed nations who are conducting such mock drills. India is also doing this mock drills on 7th of this month. And idea is to prepare the civilians and the students as to how to combat or how to safeguard themselves in these kind of crisis situation, or when any kind of such kind of attack that happens in any part of the country. So now 244 districts have been identified, primarily the districts where the mock drills will be taken place. Primarily these kind of mock drills, the focus is on the point that how can the civilians be trained. Second important aspect, we know this fact that the various security measures are being taken in various parts of the country, so that it can be ensured that no untoward incident happens again. So yes, of course, India's Home Ministry has taken this firm measure to conduct these kind of mock drills, which will train the civilians, the students, the women, if in case such kind of attack or any crisis situation emerge, how can they protect themselves, safeguard themselves, and of course evacuate themselves as well.
All right, Arun, thank you for joining in with those details. And also, that was our correspondent Anuj Sharma telling us more about the mock drills and how this will be a two-tier mock drill exercise that will be conducted on 7th of May. And the preparations are underway. In a heartwarming moment of solidarity, the city of Palmerston North in New Zealand stood still as over 150 residents from different communities, different states came together to stand against terrorism. With placards, flyers and silent prayers, the locals organized a mourning to condemn the barbaric terrorist attack in Pahalgam. Banners in hands and sorrow in hearts, this was a true show of unity against brutality and bloodshed. India has temporarily halted the flow of water from the Baghlihar Dam on the Chenab River to Pakistan. New Delhi plans to also halt the flow of water from Kishan Ganga Dam on the Jhelum River. The latest Indian countermeasure for the Pahalgam terror attack coincides with the publication of a Moody's ratings report, which says that Pakistan cannot afford a war with India given its dire economic situation.
India has cut the flow of water from the Chenab River to Pakistan. The gates of the Salal Dam, built in Baghlihar and Riyasi in Jammu, have been closed. It follows New Delhi's decision to keep the Indus Waters Treaty in abeyance in the wake of the 22nd April Pahalgam terror attack. According to reports, the Indian government is also planning to close the Kishan Ganga Dam on the Jhelum River. The flow of water in the Chenab River has since drastically reduced. The latest Indian countermeasure coincides with a Moody's report that says Pakistan does not have the money for a war with India. The global ratings firm says that a persistent increase in tensions could also impair Pakistan's access to external financing and pressure its foreign exchange reserves, which remain well below what is required to meet its external debt payment needs for the next few years. In contrast, Moody's says that India's macroeconomic conditions would be stable, bolstered by moderating but still high levels of growth and strong public investment and healthy private consumption. Meanwhile, Pakistan hosted Iran's foreign minister on Monday. An Iranian diplomat was reported as saying that the India-Pakistan tensions would be on the agenda of Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi's talks in Islamabad. Araghchi is expected to visit New Delhi later this week. Bureau Report, DD India.
While Pakistan is flexing its muscles, testing missiles and making tall claims of war preparedness, the reality is otherwise. India's retaliatory steps in the aftermath of the Pahalgam terror attack have threatened the backbone of a limping Pakistani economy. Ban on Pakistani ships, imports and postal services have dealt a big blow to Pakistan's economy, which is already in shambles. In the next report, DD India's Raghav Kumar Jha delves deeper into Pakistan's economic crisis and tells you why Pakistan cannot afford a war with India.
Struggling with a wrecked economy, Pakistan faces significant challenges like rising poverty, high inflation, and persistent debt issues. The country's economy has been badly impacted by factors like the COVID-19 pandemic, inflation, poor economic development, corruption, political unrest, and the effects of Russia-Ukraine war. According to reports, Pakistan has foreign exchange reserves of only $13.15 billion, whereas it has to pay foreign debts of $26 billion in the financial year 2025-26. Pakistan's GDP is at $338.37 billion, and it has only enough money to import goods for 2 months. In fact, Pakistan's economy is in shambles. A persistently high current account deficit and external debt obligations drained its foreign exchange reserves. By 2023, the country faced a severe balance of payment crisis, with reserves falling below $4 billion, enough for just a few weeks of imports. Pakistan is heavily reliant on external aid, particularly from the United States, China, and the international financial institutions like the International Monetary Fund or IMF. Pakistan's exports base remained narrow while imports grew consistently. Periodic IMF bailouts, more than 20 programs since 1980s, became a hallmark of Pakistan's economic policy. Each bailout brought temporary stability, but structural reforms were either delayed or diluted due to corruption. However, this is not the end of Pakistan's economic woes. The tougher times are ahead as India's retaliatory steps in the aftermath of Pahalgam terror attack threaten to break its crucial economic support links. India has imposed a blanket ban on direct or indirect import and transit of all goods originating in or exported from Pakistan following the closure of the Wagah-Atari trade route. The halt is likely to disrupt Pakistan's pharmaceutical, chemical, and food sectors, which depend heavily on Indian inputs. Informal trade via third countries like the UAE and Singapore will also come under strain due to heightened security and costs. India has barred all ships bearing the Pakistani flag from entering Indian ports and has suspended all maritime activities. Also, all postal and courier services in Pakistan stand suspended. Against this backdrop, the global rating agency Moody's has also warned Pakistan. The rating agency said on Monday that a sustained escalation in tensions with India would likely hit Pakistan's economy and hamper the government's ongoing fiscal consolidation. It warned the Indo-Pak tensions could impair Pakistan's access to external financing and put foreign exchange reserves, which is significantly low to meet existing debts, under severe stress. Amidst an economic crisis ridden by low reserves and high debts, Pakistan is running the country taking loans from the IMF. On May 9th, a crucial meeting of the IMF will be held regarding the next tranche of loan disbursal to Pakistan. According to reports, there are multiple factors including corruption and allegations of state-sponsored terrorism which may spoil Pakistan's loan prospect, in which case it will be another blow to the debt-ridden Pakistan. Against this backdrop, if Pakistan wages war with India, it will have to spend an estimated $1.5 to $3.2 million per day or $45 to $96 million per month, putting considerable pressure on Pakistan's defense budget of $7.64 billion. Amidst all this, how Pakistan will handle all this extraordinary stress on its economy is a million-dollar question. Raghav Kumar Jha for DD India.
In a major breakthrough against ISI-backed cross-border terror networks, a cache of terrorist hardware was recovered from the forested area near Tibba Nangal Kula Road, SPS Nagar district of Punjab. State Special Operations Cell, Amritsar, in a joint operation with Central Agency, recovered 2 rocket-propelled grenades, 2 IEDs, 5 P-86 hand grenades, and a wireless communication set. Preliminary probe indicates a coordinated operation by Pakistan's ISI and allied terror outfits to revive sleeper cells in Punjab. An FIR under relevant provisions of law has been registered. You're watching DD India News Hour. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, Trump slaps 100% tariff on foreign films, shaking global cinema industry. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney meets Trump amid trade war and annexation tensions. Russia downs swarm of Ukrainian drones near Moscow as cross-border tensions intensify.
complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. A quick relook at the top stories now. Calling UN Security Council meet on Kashmir boomerangs on Pakistan as it is cornered by members. Nations reject its false flag narrative, condemn Pahalgam terror attack. India's Home Secretary to hold meeting on civil defence today. 244 categorized districts up to village level begin preparation. Israel Security Cabinet approves plan to capture Gaza. Also approves plan to deliver aid through private companies. US extends support even as UN and other aid agencies decree the move. Donald Trump administration freezes future grants to Harvard, demands policy changes mainly regarding anti-Semitism on the campus. German conservative Friedrich Merz will be sworn into the office as the Chancellor. Merz to lead coalition of conservatives and social democrats. The cinema industry is reeling after US President Donald Trump's announcement of a whopping 100% tariff on foreign films, casting uncertainty over the future of international productions. Reactions have poured in from industries all over. DD India's Antara Sinha gets us more in this report.
Hollywood and entire global film industry are reeling under the latest tariff salvo by Donald Trump. The US president has called for a 100% tariff on foreign-produced films, sending shockwaves through an already fragile industry. The glitz and glamour of Tinseltown weathered down in a flash as Trump unveiled sweeping 100% tariffs on films shot outside the United States. From Canada to New Zealand, American studios have long chased foreign tax incentives, filming blockbusters in iconic locales far from California. But now, Trump wants to bring the cameras back home by force of policy. Although he has already directed the Department of Commerce to begin implementing tariffs on any and all films produced abroad, Trump sought to ward off criticism of the move. He clarified that all he wants is to help the industry. The White House said it had not made any final decisions, but noted that Hollywood film production had sharply declined from the previous year.
Film industry has been decimated by other countries taking them out, and also by incompetence, like in Los Angeles. The governor is a grossly incompetent man. He's just allowed it to be taken away from, Hollywood. Hollywood doesn't do very much of that business. They have the nice sign and everything's good, but they don't do very much. A lot of it's been taken to other countries, and a big proportion. And I'm actually going to meet with some because, there's some advantages, I guess, and I'm not looking to hurt the industry. I want to help the industry.
Industry leaders came blindsided and executives scrambled into emergency meetings. Stocks of major studios dipped after Trump's announcement. Unions and streamers alike are now questioning if the policy could even be enforced, or worse, if it could paralyze production further.
The whole movie industry at the moment is in a crisis already. We had COVID, which had a huge impact on moviegoing. We had dual strikes in the United States, which shut down production for a long period of time. The Hollywood and the film industry is really struggling to recover from those major impacts. If we add on top of that extra costs of production or these tariffs, it could really have disastrous effect on the industry.
Strikes by the writers, pandemic lockdown, ripple effects, challenges from the Asian filmmakers. List of challenges confronting Hollywood as the biggest movie-making destination are many. It was yearning for some hand-holding as the profits plummeted. Trump has fired another tariff salvo as a possible reform, but the industry is already wondering if this indeed is the solution or another addition in the long list of challenges. Antara Sinha for DD India.
The Trump administration has announced that Harvard University will be barred from receiving any new federal research grants until it complies with a set of demands laid out by the White House. The move represents the latest salvo from Trump administration willing to use the power of the federal purse to force institutions from law firms to universities to make sweeping policy changes or else lose billions of dollars in federal grants and contracts. Trump has targeted Harvard over allegations of anti-Semitism on the campus during pro-Palestinian protests. The protests were sparked by US ally Israel's military assault on Gaza after the October 2023 attack on Israel by Hamas. In recent weeks, the administration began a formal review into the nearly $9 billion in federal funding for Harvard, demanded the university ban diversity, equity and inclusion practices and crack down on some pro-Palestinian groups and mosques in protests. Voting for the local government elections in Sri Lanka is currently underway across the island with varying turnout in various districts. Most districts have reported turnout of about 10 to 15% till 9 a.m. with Vavuniya polling over 20% and Jaffna at 6%. The polls are the third nationwide election within a year that witnessed presidential and parliamentary elections late last year. The election is a crucial political milestone for the island nation as the ruling National People's Power Coalition is looking to gain control of local bodies to deliver on pledges at the local level, while the opposition is making efforts to regain the lost political ground. Dr. Ahmed Muin Farooqi joins us from Sri Lanka. Ahmed, good morning. We've told our viewers about the voting that is currently on in Sri Lanka for the local government. Get us more as to what is the significance of these elections. Help us understand the importance first.
Preeti, you see, these elections are third island-wide elections that are being held within the last 1 year period. We had presidential elections in September last year. Thereafter, we had in the November 2024, we had parliamentary elections. And now we are having local government elections. In fact, the cruciality of these elections is that these are the ones which are important for people to go for the citizen-centric initiatives, including those things which matter to them on a daily basis, including garbage clearing or maintenance of various offices in the nearby vicinity of the citizens in various localities. So this has a lot of bearing on people's day-to-day lives. That said, this election is something which had been postponed for over 2 years. It was initially scheduled to be held in March 2023, but was postponed when the then government had cited lack of funds and the economic crisis as the reasons. However, the Supreme Court had taken a very strict and a serious view with regard to holding the elections because they considered that this was a violation of the fundamental rights of the people to elect their own representatives in the local councils. Now, so far, the voting percentage has been varying from various districts. There have been reports of around 6% polling in certain districts in parts of the island, while there are a few others which have reported over 20% polling till 9 a.m. The press reports are still pouring in, but this is how it stands for now. Preeti.
All right, Ahmed, also, what are you picking up? What is it that the people are looking for? You tell us the significance of these elections, but then help us also understand what is it on the minds of the voters when they come out to vote today?
You see, Preeti, the voters had voted in the parliamentary and the presidential election for a radical change, a systems change. And to a large extent, some of the voters have felt that their promises were fulfilled by the government, while a few feel that a lot is still left to be desired. And that will be a very crucial topic on which people would be voting for. In fact, this will be a very important litmus test for the ruling NPP coalition, because it's been 6 months since they have been in power in the parliament, and it will matter a lot for them to take forward their electoral reforms and the systems change that they had promised during both the previous elections. And this will also be crucial for the opposition parties to rally around their local candidates and get the political mileage and the political capital to regain for them. And this will be a very crucial one. because people are considering that this could be perceived as a referendum on the promises and policies of the ruling coalition, and as well as for an opportunity for the opposition parties. That way, this election has a lot at stake for all those stakeholders, including the opposition parties. Preeti.
All right, polling has been, the turnout has been reported around 10 to 15% by 9 a.m. Also, we tell our viewers that in Vavuniya, polling was reported over 20% and Jaffna at 6%. Ahmed, for the benefit of our viewers, get us a quick background. When we look back into these government elections, in these local government elections in Sri Lanka, get us more as to what has been the general history of these elections, the parties which have won, the areas which have proved significant, for the elections, and get us a breakout of the victories which have been witnessed in the past.
Preeti, you see, historically, if we talk about the voter turnout itself, the turnout has not been as high as we had witnessed in presidential or the parliamentary elections. They have been on the lesser side, about 5% lesser than the parliamentary elections. That said, the parliamentary elections, we had witnessed a voter turnout of around 65%. So going by the same trends, there's a possibility the turnout would not cross 60% in this election. If we talk about the previous elections wherein the performance of various parties is concerned, the previous elections was entirely, it was dominated by the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna. That was the party led by Gotabaya Rajapaksa. And thereafter, we have seen that the SLPP had lost considerable ground when the Go Gotagama, the Aragalaya protests had been carried out during the year of 2022. And thereafter, we witnessed that the various of the significant primary parties, including the UNP as well as SJB, they could not fare well with respect to the presidential and the parliamentary elections. However, most of these locations have had local parties, especially the north, east, and the upcountry areas. They have had local parties which have fared better in the previous elections, while nationalistic parties and the other center and center-right parties have done well in the west as well as southern part of the island. But this time around, there has been a huge number of rallies that the ruling coalition has conducted in various parts of the country, including the northern part. And we had witnessed that in the parliamentary elections, they had done well in the northern part of the island. So it is being anticipated that something similar to these things would be visible this election.
Right. All right, Emma. Thank you so much for joining in with those details. And from Sri Lanka, we turn focus to Germany. Conservative Friedrich Merz is set to be sworn in as Germany's new chancellor today. He will also be the head of a coalition with the center-left Social Democrats. Lawmakers are widely expected to back Merz as chancellor in a vote in the lower house of parliament after his CDU-CSU Conservatives secured a coalition deal with the center-left Social Democrats. Merz has promised to tighten immigration rules, invest in the nation's ailing infrastructure, and rebuild ties with key European partners. The SPD on Monday also formally announced its ministers for the new government, with Defense Minister Boris Pistorius set to remain in the post, in which he has overseen strong military backing for Ukraine against Russia. SPD figures will also lead the ministries of construction, development, environment, and justice. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney is in the US for a high-stakes meeting with Donald Trump as the American president continues his trade war and annexation threats against Canada. The White House visit comes just a week after Carney led the Liberals to their fourth consecutive election victory. The US and Canada have been locked in a dispute over automotive and other tariffs imposed by Trump. Carney has termed the US actions as a betrayal and says Canada must reduce its reliance on the United States, which takes 75% of all Canadian exports. The talks are also expected to focus on creating new security and defense ties. And now some Russia-Ukraine updates. Tensions have escalated between the two countries as Russian officials announced that their air defense units destroyed a swarm of Ukrainian drones targeting Moscow for the second night in a row, prompting the closure of the capital's airports. Mayor Sergei Sobyanin said that at least 19 Ukrainian drones were destroyed on their approach to Moscow from different directions. On Tuesday, Russia's air defense units destroyed 4 Ukrainian drones on their approach to Moscow with no damage or injuries reported. Ukraine says its drone attacks are aimed at destroying infrastructure key to Moscow's overall war efforts and are in response to Russia's continued assault on Ukrainian territory, including residential areas and energy infrastructure. You're watching DD India News Hour. We are heading for a short break, but after the break, all 133 Catholic cardinals who will vote for a new pope to begin moving into the Vatican accommodation. Today is day 3 of the Khelo India Youth Games 2025, which is underway in eastern state of Bihar. And celebrities dazzle at the fashion's biggest night of the year, Met Gala.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Let's continue getting you more updates. All 133 Catholic cardinals eligible to vote for next pope have arrived in Rome ahead of the conclave starting Wednesday. These leaders from 70 countries are engaged in discussions on key church matters before they enter the Sistine Chapel. The process follows strict secrecy with ballots burned after each vote. Black smoke will indicate no decision, while white smoke will signify the selection of a new pope. While some frontrunners such as Italian Cardinal Pietro Parolin and Filipino Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle have been named, many cardinals remain undecided on who will lead the church forward. The conclave, steeped in centurion-old tradition, could last for days or even weeks. The world watches as Catholic leaders take on their historic responsibility in shaping the church's future. As the Vatican awaits its new pope, public curiosity grows. Who are the cardinals? How do they choose their next leader of the church? And what role do they play in shaping its future? Let's get you answers of these. Cardinals are top-ranking Catholic clergy appointed by the Pope. Cardinals advise and assist in church governance. Cardinals from the College of Cardinals, the body that elects a new pope in a conclave. Only cardinals under 80 years of age, called cardinal electors, vote in a papal election. The conclave, held in the Sistine Chapel of Vatican City, follows secrecy and tradition. Cardinals are created by the Pope, not simply named or promoted. Most cardinals are bishops, either heading dioceses or serving in the Vatican. The title cardinal denotes honor and influence, not a specific church office. Also, cardinals wear scarlet red, symbolizing both authority and sacrifice. Their rank makes them second only to the Pope in church hierarchy. Called princes of the church, cardinals shape the Catholic leadership. All right, up next we turn focus to sports. Day 3 of the Khelo India Youth Games 2025 in Bihar bursts into action on Tuesday with unmatched enthusiasm and talent. From thrilling volleyball and football clashes to intense archery, hockey and table tennis face-offs, young athletes will shine across disciplines on the third day. Traditional sports like kabaddi, kho-kho, malkham and gatka will also be seen once again. The excitement peaks with medal events in cycling, swimming, shooting, sepak takraw and judo. Talking about the medal table, Karnataka is at the first place with 9 medals, Delhi is at the second position with 6 medals, while Rajasthan is at the third position with 3 medals. Narayan Singh joins us from New Delhi. Narayan, good morning. We've told our viewers about how day 3 is planned ahead, but you get us more significantly about the important clashes, the highlights of the day that we look forward to on day 3 of the Khelo India Games.
Good morning, Preeti. The way we know that yesterday things happened and Karnataka won 4 gold medals in the swimming, and also we saw that multiple athletes in the different event winning the medal for their respective states. So talking about today, there will be multiple medals will be at stake, especially in swimming. There will be breaststroke, backstroke, in butterfly. All these events there will be medals for the different teams. And also talking about shooting, in shooting will also there will be medals at the stake, especially in the 10-meter air pistol event and 50-meter rifle 3 position. And if you talk about the events like table tennis, preliminary rounds are underway, and in hockey also the pool matches will take place. So it is initially it is in the group stages in the many tournaments, but the way things happen, the way our athletes are competing from all the states and the union territories, definitely it's a great platform for athletes to look for. And we can say that this is not only a platform to showcase their talent, but it is about bringing sports culture in India. The way Prime Minister Modi in his speech during the opening ceremony said that Khelo India played a pivotal role in bringing the sports culture in India. And most importantly, Bihar hosting the games, it's a big thing because it will also bring a sports culture in Bihar, and Bihar slowly and steadily also progressing in sports. In the national games during this edition of the national game in Dehradun, we saw that Bihar winning 13 medals and 1 gold medal, and it was their best ever performance in the national games. And also Bihar has, we can say that a world class infrastructure is right now there in Rajgir. The hockey stadium is there where Women's Asian Hockey Champions Trophy took place, and also there are multiple sports infrastructure has been created for the Khelo India Games. Actually what happened when the athletes of Bihar will come to play, will compete in this Khelo India Games, the people, the family person of these athletes will come to cheer them. Also people in community will come to cheer them, and this will create a sporting environment in the Bihar also. So this is the aim of the Khelo India Games. It's not only about winning medals, it's not only about just making a budding sports athletes, but it's also about creating awareness about the sports,
yes,
creating awareness about how people should connect with the sports.
All right, Narayan, we'll leave it here. Thank you so much for joining in with those details. And still with sports, we turn focus to cricket. Sunrisers Hyderabad's IPL playoff hopes ended after their match against Delhi Capitals was abandoned due to heavy rain at the Rajiv Gandhi Stadium on Monday. Hyderabad's pace attack, led by Pat Cummins, restricted Delhi to 133 for 7 in the first innings before rain forced officials to call off the game, with both teams sharing a point each. Delhi remained in contention for a top 4 spot with 13 points from 11 games, while Sunrisers' campaign effectively ended with just 7 points from their 11 matches. The abandonment marked a disappointing season for Sunrisers Hyderabad, who failed to replicate their successful batting performance from 2024 when they reached the final. Although before the rain interruption, Hyderabad displayed impressive bowling performance and appeared on course for their 4th victory of the season. The rain-affected match denied Hyderabad the opportunity to chase the modest target, forcing them to settle for a shared point and ending their playoff session, in fact, playoff aspirations. Barcelona manager Hansi Flick confirmed that striker Robert Lewandowski has been declared fit to return from his hamstring injury, but is set to start on the bench in their Champions League semi-final second leg at Inter Milan on Tuesday. The 36-year-old Polish striker, who has netted 40 goals for Barcelona in all competitions this season, had been sidelined for his club's last 4 games. After sustaining an injury on April 19th, he missed their Copa del Rey final victory over rivals Real Madrid and the first leg of the Champions League semi against Inter. Barcelona's hopes of reaching their first Champions League final in a decade are lifted by Lewandowski's return, especially after an exhilarating 3-each draw in the first leg. However, the team will be without key fullbacks Jules Koundé and Alejandro Balde, both sidelined with injuries. Met Gala 2025 kicked off at the New York's Metropolitan Museum of Art with a slew of dazzling stars hitting the red carpet. Now, the exhibition showcased historical and contemporary garments and accessories, as well as drawings, prints, paintings, and photographs that have shaped the understanding of Black identities and experiences. This year's theme, Superfine, Tailoring Black Style, examines Black dandyism from the 18th century to the present. Many Bollywood actors and actresses also attended the fashion's biggest night of the year. Bollywood superstar Shah Rukh Khan made his grand debut, becoming the first ever Indian male actor to walk the red carpet. Apart from him, actress Priyanka Chopra, Indian fashion designer Manish Malhotra, and Harvard graduate and tech entrepreneur Mona Patel also attended the event. With that, we end this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can download the respective QR codes on the screens. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.